Oh, it's been a busy couple of days talking to first home buyers who have 2% deposits. We did a post on the weekend talking about buying a property with a 2% deposit. It's possible. We're going to unpack it. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning.
Oh, how are you, Billy? You were negative about this story. You were negative about it.
No,
You
I'm
were
here
saying
to I'm here
you
to
were saying you
present
didn't
both
want to be
sides of
in
the
bed
fact.
with. Well, you were saying you didn't want to be in bed with anyone when buying a property.
Well, I said, is it bad to be in bed with the government? And you said it's good to be in, it's just bad to be in no bed, Don't be a
And
virgin.
and that's the reality. I think at the moment that to buy a property, to get a loan for a first home property, you at an entry level median price for Metro Sydney, you need to be on almost 120, 130 grand. Um, and that is just preposterous. So to qualify to get a loan, your wage just has to be so goddamn high.
Yeah.
And the government's come along with this initiative saying, well, if you're under 95K in income, we've got a solution for you. And they're going to JV with you. They're going to partner up with you. Tell us more, Billy.
So we are talking about the shared equity home buyer helper scheme. It's a bit of a mouthful, but
What is it again?
it is the shared equity home buyer helper. That's what it's
Helper.
called.
So,
And it is the government backing you all the way here. And look, we're in the midst of a rental crisis where people are extremely stressed about their long-term plans. They're worried about rents changing. This could be the solution they're looking for to get in with as little as a 2% deposit for eligible people, and start creating your own pathway. I think that's quite powerful. And so, although you've got the government assisting you in this. Don't get me wrong; it's still a great first step to home ownership, and that's what it is.
well, I think a lot of people were forced to buy something with their brother, sister, friend. They were going to go, let's go halves in a property. Concept's great, but they're not getting the first home buyer grant. So it sort of fell short on that basis there, which was a bit of a bummer. Um, Another thing as well, which is really, really interesting, is with the first home buyer thing there, that the government actually helps, it ends up reducing your repayments to live in a bigger, better property. So I found that really, really interesting that, you've got a property that, you don't have those mortgage repayments. So they're going to pay up to 40% on a brand new property and up to 30% on a second hand property.
Yep,
And you're in bed with the government. Now, it shows you how confident the government is in property.
absolutely. Yeah, they're not putting their money where their mouth is, right? It's good.
Absolutely. And I was modeling this yesterday with a lady in the office, and she was going, "Look, I'm a single mom. It's just really, really hard to get into the property market." And well, I modelled buying something for 700,000, and I said, "Well, let's just go through potentially how it can be done." So your repayment on a 700,000 was 30% less than what they could have been or what they should have been. Um, your ownership is 30% less than the property, which sucks. But what I basically said was, look, 500 grand ish, you're going to be having a mortgage for. 200 grand ish, the government's going to own. You're going to enjoy the two bedroom. And then I said, in 10 years' time, in property world, and this is the idea of the segue that it gives people. In 10 years' time, you'd like to think that property value compounds and doubles. So what happens is the 700 goes to a 1.4. You give 400 back to the government,
Yep.
and you put in and you put into your pocket $1 million.
It's pretty powerful.
So you're going to be paying back some of the mortgage, but if you say you haven't paid back the mortgage, you're still putting in your pocket 500 grand. Now there is the magic. Why is the government doing this, Billy?
Well, they've recognised a shortage of entry-level property, and specifically helping key workers here. So to be eligible for this, it's single parents of a dependent child or children, single people over the age of 50, or first home buyer key workers. So that's nurses, paramedics, midwives, teachers, early childhood educators, and police.
So it is a bit they're the people that's helping, but to be really broad with this stick, if the government helps people get into property ownership at any time, what actually happens is it's less reliance and dependence, and it gets people off the boob of the government. So if they build wealth into individuals and they help people and they give them that pathway or that segue into property ownership, those parties, when they turn to 60, 70, aren't going to be putting their hand out as much to the government and to support them, and to the taxpayers to support them. So it's teaching really good habits of wealth management and wealth growth young,
Yep.
that people can benefit from when they get older. But I think there's also within this first home buyer share equity scheme, I think there's also people over 50 qualify.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's a great, if you've ever thought, no, it's too late, it's not too late, and this is a perfect opportunity for people.
Yeah, I agree. Government loves property. It's the go-to. Morning, Luke. Is there anything better for investment when the government loves property? Cash on cash return is amazing. Yeah, so it's got a lot of positive features. That's the eligibility. As Mark said, how does this actually work? Well, for a brand new property, the government can contribute up to 40% of the purchase price, and up to 30% for an existing dwelling. This helps participants secure a mortgage by reducing the deposit required, potentially down to as little as 2% of the purchase price. So the government contributes its percentage up front, and while it receives an equity share in the property, the mortgage and the home is yours. So that's it in short term.
So that's $14,000 for 700 grand. That's $10,000 for 500 grand. That's not big Benjis. I think they need you to show some sort of commitment, and that's why they've suggested the 2%.
Yep.
Some sort of commitment towards it, and then they're prepared to take the rest of the commitment with you. So there are selected banks that will do the mortgages. The interest rates are normal. Good luck, everyone.
That's it. You won't have to make repayments towards the government's equity share, and you won't be charged rent or interest on it either. So if you do have capacity, you can make voluntary repayments over time. But there you go. That's the facts.
Look, I think it's, call it the government, or call it a partner, or call it a bank, whatever you want to call it. I think that the capacity for someone to allow you to use their money at no interest rate, and not charge rent for that money either, because they're aware that you're buying a property with it. That's pretty astonishing. For a single mum to know, to have that second bedroom for their child, and know that they're not, the mortgage isn't bigger as a result of it. That's clever.
I don't know how many other governments would be doing this, put it that way.
Oh, it's good point. I reckon worldwide, good luck trying to find a government that does this.
Yeah, it's an exciting time. So if you need help, you know, buying your first property with as little as 2%, get in touch. We'll put you in touch. You know, get you in touch with the right team, and happy searching. You could be in your own property well before you realised. Early
By
Christmas
Christmas.
present, maybe.
You could be early Christmas present for getting a property with a 2% deposit.
There you go.
All right, guys. Love you. See you. Bye. Thanks, Billy Bob.
See you, Mark. Have a good one,
See
guys.
you, mate.